In this episode of Flea Market Rescue, I'm going to teach you how to make a frame from just scraps of pallet wood. And in my last thrifting video, everyone was like, what are you going to do with that big wreath? Well, I'm going to show you today. We're going to build a snowman. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to make another snowman that we're going to put into a thrift store jar. What a cutie patootie, right? So if you're ready, let's get started on this week's projects. One quick note though, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you'll consider doing that. I post new videos every week, and if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Alright you guys, we are going to build a frame. I have some leftover kind of board. You know, it's like pallet wood. So use your scrap pieces of wood. See, we're going to line them up like so. And we'll use this board as our guide. We'll cut here, we'll cut here, and then we'll add one more board here. And then what's gonna attach them is we'll put one of these boards right across all four boards, and we'll nail it, boom, boom, boom. And then we'll come up here and do the same thing, cut another one and go boom, 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 boom. That's gonna hold this all together. And then I got this cute little clip. We'll glue that on after we paint, of course, after we paint it. And then we can hang photos. It's gonna be super cute. It's gonna be super easy. So let's get to work. Okay, so let's mark this here. We want them all to be the same size. So I'm just gonna mark this right here. Use a pencil too, because you go to paint and you're not using a pencil, it's going to bleed through if you're using a marker. Okay, so we're going to cut these. These will all be equal parts, and then we'll cut one more out of this one here. Let's do that right now. Now we're just going to cut these thin boards that are going to hold our pallet boards together. Now it's time to nail all this together. Now that we have this assembled, we're going to paint it white. I'm going to use my Bear paint. I always use this. It's my go-to paint. So we're just going to I do not want to cover all of this. This pallet wood has a nice rough texture to it, so you're going to get a lot of grainy type looks. So again, I don't want to paint the entire thing. Now as far as these are brand spanking new, so we can definitely paint these all white. Or close to it anyhow. And we'll come back and paint the back once it's dry. Okay, so this is completely dry now, and we're just gonna flip it over and paint the back. Okay, so our frame is completely dry, and now we're gonna add this little clip. You can get these clips at Hobby Lobby, and they're not too expensive. You get a whole big thing of them. So we're gonna glue this on right here. Let me turn it around. We're gonna glue it on right there. And in order to do that, we're gonna use a little of this Gorilla Glue. It's a 2-part epoxy. You squeeze it out equal parts, you mix it, and then we'll just put it on the back of our little clip here. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna squirt some out. Then you just take like a toothpick. I'm gonna take a toothpick here and mix that up. And we're just gonna put it on the back of our clip. And we'll place our clip right in the middle here. You know, actually I want to put it a little further down. About right there would be good. So we're gonna let that dry, and our frame will be all done. Move that over a little. That looks a little more centered. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. Okay, so this is glued on, and I'm gonna take one of my favorite pictures. This is my son when he was younger, kissing a snowman. I love this photo, and we're gonna put that on our new frame. So I'm just gonna put that right here. And when I was at Target, I picked up this. This is on clearance. If you guys get a chance, go to Target and buy up all of this because it is amazing. It looks so realistic.
These are nice for spring wreaths. I actually have a few of these. But these are just amazing. I love these. If they had more, I would have had a cart full.
So we're just gonna add 2 of these wreaths because I like mine a little fuller. So instead of 1, we're gonna use 2. And we're just gonna hang that right on the little clip itself. Now how cute is that? Hey you guys, so Christmas is over and now it is January. I don't know if you're like me, but I leave my snowmen up in January and a little bit of February because here in Michigan, we get a lot of snow. January and February, tons of snow. It's like a winter wonderland. So anyway, if you're like me, you like to keep your snowmen up, guess what? I have a project that we're gonna do. Remember this wreath I bought at the thrift store? A lot of you were like, what are you gonna do with this? Well, guess what? We're gonna take these flowers out and we're gonna make a snowman. Don't worry, it's not gonna look Christmassy. We're not gonna use any red or anything like that. It's gonna be very muted and it'll go with our farmhouse theme. So let's get to work. Let's take these flowers out and we'll make a snowman. Okay, so first things first, we wanna get all these flowers out of here. I don't wanna see any of these. They're not even attached very well, I'll tell ya. Someone just kinda stuck them in. The moss, that was it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take, well, we're gonna use the moss probably, but just for right now, let's just get these flowers off, and then we will also take the moss out too and put it to the side, but we probably will use some of this moss. So that looks better already. Like I said, we're gonna take this moss actually out so that we have a nice clean surface to start with. And there we go. Looks good. Okay, so now that we have everything cleared away here, we have to figure out how big we need a snowman. So I'm just gonna kind of take some paper here and I'm gonna place that right here towards the bottom of the wreath. Okay, then I'm gonna take another piece and I'm gonna put it right here. And I probably want the snowman to come about right here. He's gonna have a hat, so we gotta leave room for a hat. I'm thinking probably right here is where we are gonna start our snowman head. I'm gonna tape these pieces of paper together first, and then we'll draw out the snowman's head. So I'm just gonna tape these pieces together. Flip it over and put a little piece here too. I'm going to get my pencil and then we're going to draw the line where the head's going to start. Okay, so I have a pencil here. I want the snowman to rest a little off on the left hand side. Again, he's going to have a hat that's probably going to be about that tall. So let's say that his head starts right here. Alright. Perfect. We're going to draw that out a little better on the table. I'm going to move the wreath. Now, I don't want you to be overwhelmed. This is going to be just a simple shape here. We are going to do a curve like this. Okay, just a curve. That's all you got to do. Straight down, straight down. Okay, that's all there is to this. So don't be overwhelmed. That's all you're going to do. Measure it for your wreath. Mine's a bigger wreath, so my snowman's going to be a little bigger. Can you see? That's all that is. Straight down, curve around, come back down. That's it. That's all you got to do. So now I'm going to cut this out. Now you can do this. See? Nothing to it. Alright? Now that we have his head and his body, just put a little nose here, 2 eyes. Okay? We might stitch a mouth. I don't know. We'll see. But that's going to be the head and the body. You need some arms. You got to have some arms here. So just measure down. We're going to do the same thing, except it's just going to be little curves. That's it. That's all you're going to do. You only need to cut one of these out because you can use it as a pattern piece and do it twice on your fabric. Okay? We'll do 1 and 2. I almost think that he's a little too wide. I want him to be a thinner snowman. I'm just going to cut this down a little bit. I'm going to shave a little off each side here. Yeah, that's a little more what I'm looking to have. Something a little bit thinner. Yeah, okay. So we have that, and we have our arms. To make our snowman, we're just going to use a little of this Ossenberg. The reason I like using Ossenberg rather than like muslin is because it has like a texture to it, where muslin is just like really smooth. This is a little more textury. It's almost like duck cloth, but not stiff. It just has that kind of look to it. Just going to put our pattern piece right here. And all you want to do is just trace around your pattern piece. So now we have it drawn out here, but we need to have 2 arms. So with the arm pieces, I'm going to draw that out as well. So we're going to do 2 of these. I know the pencil is probably very light, but you should be able to see. Here's the arms. And I drew out the body and the head, which are connected, so it's all one piece. Before I start sewing, I'm just going to cut a little smaller area out. It just makes it a lot easier when you're sewing, that you don't have to work with all this fabric. Turn our machine on, and let's start with the arms here. I'm going to put the needle in. I'm going to go a few steps up, and then we're going to back stitch. All right, let's go. Follow your line.
As I'm going around the curve, I'm just repositioning the needle because it's really hard to go around without going far out. So I sew a little, I stop, I reposition the needle, I go a little bit more, I put the needle back in, and I reposition it again until we can get around that curve.
And then you're going to back stitch it. Okay, we have one arm done. We stitched all the way along. Alright, now we're going to do the second one. We're going to do the exact same thing. Now we have both arms done, and we're just going to do the body. It's going to be just like the arms. Back stitch all the way around.
Going around the curve on this one here, it's a much bigger curve, so I don't need to stop as much as the arms. Okay, we're just straightening that out, and we're going to continue on.
Okay, so this is all sewn. Now we're going to cut it, turn it, and stuff it. All right, so now it's time to cut our pieces out that we just sewed. So you're just going to want to cut about 1/4 inch all the way around. You don't want to cut all the way up to the stitching, you just want to cut leaving about 1/4 inch. Okay, so this is our first arm. We're going to cut the second one out here. Again, using about 1/4 inch all the way around. And same thing with the head and body. Just clip about 1/4 inch all the way around. All right, that looks pretty good. This is what we're going to do. Now you need to turn your pieces. Just turn them inside out so that the right side is showing. All right. This is our snowman. Very, very cool. And now you can turn this by hand by just pulling these apart and then just kind of doing this thing. But I don't know if you remember when we were making the mitten, I believe, I showed you these turning tools. Mine are old, I've had them for 20 years, but you can get them on the internet and they're very cool to use. So basically what you do is you just open up your piece, you stick this through, and then they provide you with a stick. This is not the original stick because again mine are 20 years old and I probably lost it somewhere along the line. But anyway, once this is inside like this, Then you take your stick and you push down. And voila, look how easy that is to turn. Super easy. Okay, so here's one of our arms. Again, you can turn it without one of the turning tools, but it just makes it so much easier. So when I turn it by hand, if I didn't have this, try to get a stick or something just so you can push on this, and it's a little more time consuming to do it this way, but it can be done. Now I use polyfill here. This is the best brand to use. This is the only brand you should use when you're making dolls, polyfill. Some of the other ones bunch up and it looks like your doll has cellulite. So you do not want that. Anyway, we're gonna use some of this polyfill stuffing. And what you do is, to get it started, you take a little bit and you just kind of push it into your doll arm opening, and with a stick you push it down. Okay, just keep pushing it down. That little lump of, there you go. Now we only are going to stuff the arms halfway because you want the arms to rest onto the body, and if you stuff it too much, it doesn't lay very good. So again, just push that down, and we'll just do a little bit more here. All right, so that's about halfway. I'm happy with that. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna stuff the other arm, but I wanna show you, I'm real excited about doing the body. So you're gonna take some fiberfill and you're just gonna put that all the way up to the head. Really just push that up there good. Now the body we're going to fill all the way until about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch from the bottom. Okay, so now we have our snowman body. We are going to stitch across, stitching up the bottom here. But let me finish that other arm. As you can see, this is how the arm will attach. Like right here. Let's do that with the other arm. We're going to just finish that up. I think that's decent. We got our 2 arms halfway filled. Now let's take our body over to the sewing machine here, and we're just going to sew straight across. Okay, so I'm going to take the bottom here. I'm going to place it underneath the foot. I'm going to put the needle in, and then I'm going to go a couple spaces forward. Hold on one second. And I'm going to back stitch, and then now let's go all the way across, sewing that fiberfill inside. Back stitch, done. Okay. All right, so now we have our body and we have our 2 arms. We're going to hand stitch the arms onto our snowman. I have a needle and thread, and we are just going to tuck in. You want to tuck in here this raw edge so you have more of a finished edge. See, like this? That looks better. And then you're gonna put it to about right here where a shoulder would be. And then we're gonna hand stitch this on. And then once you have it sewn on there, we're gonna go back to the end and we're gonna tie it off. We'll make a knot so that it doesn't come off. And then you're gonna just trim away the tails. Okay, so we have the arm on our snowman. Let's put another arm on. Okay, our doll is just way too white, so we need to give it a little more character. We need to darken it up a little. So I have this instant coffee. You know, just get the cheapest one you can get. And we're gonna add a lot of coffee to this. Let me put a little water in there. So I added the water and I'm just mixing in the coffee. You want it nice and dark. You don't want it really light. It's not like we're drinking it. We're using it to stain this up a bit. So now that we have our coffee mixture really, really dark, we're gonna paint it onto our doll. Now, you could wear gloves if you want because this can stain your hands. Actually, this might even be a little too dark, but that's okay because we're going to do something else to it. So for this purpose, it doesn't really matter. Just want to really get it. This is very messy, so make sure you have something underneath. Okay, now that it's all coffee stained, we're gonna take some white paint, just some kind of cheap white paint, and we're gonna paint over it. I'm just gonna put a little on this on the side here. Whoa, 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 whoa. I should have mixed that up. I haven't used this in a long time. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna use a little of this white paint. Dip your brush back in. Start streaking that on that baby. Again, you probably want to wear gloves because your hands are going to smell like coffee, that's for sure. You know, I really miss doing dolls now that I'm doing this one. All right. This back here. So, as you can see, it's all white and coffee stained. We're gonna let that dry overnight and we'll come back and finish his face and do his clothes. Okay, our snowman is dry, and although he has streaks of white in certain areas, he's not as white as I would like, so we are just gonna dry brush some white onto him. That is gonna give him a cool textured look. So I'm just using, again, what we used yesterday, the apple barrel white. I'm gonna dip my brush into it, and we are gonna like just scrape it across his face like this. See, we're just dry brushing it on. Do you see? We don't want for him to be completely white. We want to make him look old. So we're just putting it lightly across his face. And we're going to do that on his arms too. Just again, very sparingly, not covering the whole thing. The reason we coffee dyed him, because we want him to have this age kind of look. We don't want him to be stark white. So we're just tapping his hands, not completely doing the whole thing. Just show you a little close up, see how the head is? See how the arms are? You even want to do up to the shoulders. Okay. So I think that looks pretty darn good. It has an aged look, but yet has some white to it. You're going to want to do the same thing to the back of his head because, again, he's really coffee stained. Okay, so we have our snowman here, but a snowman, he needs a nose. So I have this branch here. I'm just gonna cut a piece of it. And I think that's gonna look really cool. Yes. Okay, so we have our nose. We're gonna puncture a little hole here and then we can insert it there. So we're gonna take our little wooden nose that we have and we're gonna make a hole about right there where that nose is gonna go. So I'm gonna put a little hole right here. And we're gonna insert our stick in there.
I like to put my noses a little up.
I think that'd be cute. Okay, so now that we have the nose in, we're just gonna take some of this black embroidery thread along with these little these beads that I got from Hobby Lobby. They're only $2.99. We're gonna take 2 of those and we're gonna use those for eyes. They're the perfect eye. Okay, so I'm just gonna thread this embroidery needle and we're gonna go through the top of the head because you know what? A hat's gonna be on there. You'll never see our knot. So I'm gonna just come out where one of the eyes should be. You wanna leave a little bit of string on top here. That way you're able to tie it off when we come back out. So we're gonna put one of those on there. And then going across, we're gonna put another little eye. See? Let me just grab one more of these and we'll put that through. And then we're gonna come back out through the head. Oops, sorry. See how cute? What a cutie patootie. Okay, now if you pull on these, you can see how the eyes make a little indentation. I kind of like it like that, so I'm going to pull them a little tighter. And then we're going to knot off on the head here. Okay, so I think that looks super cute. We're gonna glue this in. And then I just wanna see what I should do for a mouth here. We could do a line across. You can even do little dots. You know what, I think I'm gonna do just little dots. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come out where the mouth would be. So I'd say about right there. And then we're gonna just make knots. One knot, put it back in. Come back down. Make another knot. Come back in. Make another knot. Come back in, make another knot. Come in one last time and make another knot, and then we'll exit through the top of the head again and tie that off. Just want to show you what it looks like. Is that cute or what? Okay, so I'm going to exit out the head again, and then we're going to tie it on the top there. Like I said, a hat's gonna cover this, so you will not see the knots. So let's just tie that off. And voila, we got our face, super cute. I'm gonna cut this here. Here's our snowman's head. Say hi. Okay, so we're gonna glue this nose in. I'm just gonna pull it out a little. And then I'm gonna put a little glue, just enough so I can push it back in and it'll stick. And again, I like my noses going up a little. So we're kind of gluing that up. Cute. Okay, so that's not going anywhere. Now we need to make some clothes here. So I actually have some of this burlap bag that was left over from our pumpkin project in the fall. And I'm gonna use some of this for like little suspenders. So let's cut those right now. I'm gonna get some scissors and we'll cut them. Okay, I'm just gonna cut these. And I'll cut this again. This is an old feed sack or flour sack that I got at Springfield, if you remember. All right, I found these grain sacks. Look at these. They're old, they're vintage. They have the stripe going through. We're gonna make. So I think these are gonna look cute. We're gonna kind of just glue them. Yeah, that's gonna look cute on him. But let's tuck the edge in a little more. I'm gonna just glue it. We're not gonna do any sewing at all. We're just gonna glue. So I'm gonna fold this rough edge here down a little. Now that's a better suspender. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. Okay, so we're gonna loop these suspenders around his arm, like so. gonna lift his arm up, and we're just gonna glue these down. So I'm gonna put a little glue here, and a little glue here. And that's gonna hold this part of the suspender. We're gonna do the same thing with the other side. Okay, now we're gonna take the rest of this fabric and I am gonna just wrap it around him like this. I'm gonna turn him over and I'm gonna cut this extra fabric off. And we're gonna glue this down. Okay, we're not done yet. I'm gonna get some burlap and we're gonna put some burlap and then tie that around him. So now I have some burlap here. I'm just gonna cut a little bit of burlap, enough to go around him. It's about right there. Okay, now we have our burlap cut. We are gonna just tie that around here. You know what, this is too finished of an edge. I really want the jagged edge to be showing. You don't want this perfect, so that's why I didn't use that real nice folded over edge. You want some of this to be frayed. Okay. And I'm going to tie that around our snowman. I have this greenery that has a wire. I got this at the dollar store. So I'm just going to cut a piece of that and a piece of jute, and that's how we're going to tie this around. It's sort of like an apron. I'm going to put that behind our snowman. And then I'm going to cut a piece of jute. And we're going to tie the two pieces around our snowman. Cut that ends off here. And I think that looks really cool. The only thing is it's a little bit long, so we're gonna cut some of that off. We don't need all that. Okay, so now our snowman has some clothes, but he needs a hat. So we're gonna do that. Now our snowman needs a hat. So I have this felt square. It was 33 cents. We're gonna make a really simple and easy hat. So we're just gonna roll this up. To be about that thick. We're doing a tall, skinny hat. And we're not gonna have it this long. Probably, let's get rid of about 3/4 of this. Okay, so that's good. And to keep this closed, we're just gonna hot glue this down the back. Okay, that should be closed. Now, we need to cut a circle so that can go on top, and that way you don't see the roll. So we're gonna cut a circle that's about the same. We're gonna cut a circle that's about the same roundness as the top of the hat. and we're gonna glue that to the top. Now this is a little big, so we can trim all the way around, but first we're gonna glue it to it. I'm gonna just put glue all around the top here. We're gonna put our circle, even though it's a little too big, we're gonna put it right on top. And then we're just gonna cut around it. Okay, so we have that glued on top. Now we need to make the bottom part. So to make the bottom part, we're gonna double it up a little so that the brim will stay stiff. And we're gonna glue that on top. We're gonna cut 2 pieces. I have 2 pieces doubled up. As you see, 1, 2. We're gonna glue these 2 together. You just wanna do it around the outer edge. We'll glue these 2 together. And now we're gonna make sort of like an oval. Perfect. And we're gonna glue this right on top. Hold that in place while it dries. Now, before we glue this hat on, I think I want to make a couple little eyebrows on this guy here. So we're just going to go through the head again, through the side. I just think it's going to make him look cute. Back up through the head. How cute is that? All right, so I'm just gonna tie this off, and then we're gonna do the head, or the hat, I'm sorry. All right, to attach the hat, and we want this hat to stand up, we're gonna use a dowel rod. We're gonna push it through his head and then push it through this too. So let me just cut that. Now I'm gonna make a little hole in his head that the dowel rod can be inserted. We'll put a little glue around that. Then we're gonna put a little hole right here in the hat. And we're gonna push the hat down through the hole onto his head. I need to get over here to see. Okay, so now it is time to glue the hat onto our snowman's head. I'm just gonna put a little glue right here, a little glue on the back, and then we're gonna push that hat down. So to decorate, what we're gonna do first, we're gonna take our snowman and we are gonna wire him in. I have some wire and some wire snips, and we're gonna cut a couple pieces of wire and we're gonna wire him into this wreath. We're gonna put a piece of wire through the back of him. We're gonna put him, I want him more like on the left-hand side. And as you can see, there is a backing here. We are gonna wire him into the backing. I'm just gonna twist that wire. Okay, Okay, so he is wired in here. We'll do one for his hat too. And then we're gonna put it through the felt. So I'm gonna poke it through. And then we're gonna wire it through a piece of the grapevine. That will hold his hat in place. All right, so now he's completely wired in through the back and through his hat. I'm gonna just give you a little close up there. All right.
I bought this awesome stuff at Hobby Lobby, and we're just going to put it behind our snowman.
Okay, if you remember, we saved all this moss. We are going to glue this moss on the bottom here around him. We're just going to put a little hot glue in spots so that this will stick. I want to leave his hand out. I like his arm out there. Now, if you remember, during Christmas, I showed you this little wagon I got from the Goodwill. We're gonna add this into there because I think it's gonna be so stinking cute. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna add it to the bottom here. I'll lift this up here so you can see this. So we're gonna add it to the bottom here, and we're gonna wire that in as well. I want his little arm to be resting in here. I think that is so cute. Okay, so I like how that looks, but we need to wire this in so that this basket is going nowhere. I'm gonna wire the wheels in. We're gonna wrap it around a grapevine here. Now I need to just put a little piece of wire right here on this wheel. So we're gonna do that. Remember the Sweet Annie? Everybody runs and gets the Sweet Annie when they go to Springfield. So make sure if you go to Springfield that you get your Sweet Annie.
I bought some Sweet Annie, which smells great. And you can do like a wreath, you can add it into a flower arrangement with hydrangeas and stuff. And my neighbor, I bought her some last year. She made a wreath of it and she put it outside. And she said she has it hanging right now, and you just shake it and you get the smell right back again. So this is a great filler for anything that you really want to do.
All right, so we're gonna take a few of these pieces and we're gonna put it in along the wreath just to give it a little green look, but a muted green look. Boy, this Sweet Annie is still very fragrant. You can really smell it. It smells so beautiful. So I'm gonna add some Sweet Annie along here. Okay, so I have my wire, and we're gonna wire in that Sweet Annie here. We're gonna tie it around here. Okay, so I cut another piece of Sweet Annie, and we're gonna put it on this side of the wreath. We're gonna wire it in there. All right, so I think that looks beautiful. Now, if you wanted, you could put a little tree in here. That would be really cute. I think we need to finish him off with a scarf though. He's looking really cool, but again, I think we need a scarf. Okay, so we have determined we need a scarf. I have this vintage fabric I got from the flea market. It's just a striped black and white. I love it because it looks farmhouse. We're gonna cut a piece for his scarf. So I want his scarf to be long ways, the stripes. So I'm gonna cut it that way, and I'm ripping it because that's the way we do that. It gives it a really cool edge. Take a look at the edge. See, it's perfect. So now let's wrap that around him. I think it's gonna look adorable. He needs something around his neck. Okay, I like that. I think that is super cute. And like I said, you could even put like a little pine, a seedling in there. Actually, I have one right here. You could stick a seedling in there. That would just be the cherry on top of the cake. I really think so. You'd have to hot glue that in there, and I'm probably gonna do that because I think that looks so stinking cute. I'm gonna show you a wide angle of it. All right, you guys, we are gonna make a cute little snowman that's gonna go in a jar. So I have this terry cloth. It's just like a towel. You could actually use a white towel that you get at the Salvation Army, or just buy, you know, this is a 1/4 yard of terry cloth that I got at Joann's.
So what we're going to do is cut out 3 circles, one large one, a medium, and a small.
Okay, we're gonna start with these 3 circles here. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna hand gather these. We're gonna take a little of this embroidery thread. This is like 34 cents. You can get it at Joann's or Michael's. And we're just gonna use like a large needle and go in and out, in and out, in and out. Same with this, in and out, in and out, in and out, and the smaller one. So let's do that right now. Just gonna thread the needle, and we're just gonna start going in and out, in and out, in and out, all the way around with our embroidery thread. Leave a little bit so you can tie it off when you get around to the other side. So I'm just going to continue to keep going in and out all the way around. This actually is a pretty fast project. All right, so now we have met it at the other end. We have 2 tails here. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna weight this down, and in order to weight it down, we're gonna use some kitty litter. I know that I've told you before, I have been a doll maker for years, and kitty litter is one of our tricks to making something appear that it has some weight. And people equate weight with quality. If they pick it up and it's light, it feels cheap. But if you pick it up and it has some weight, people think it's very, you know, it has quality. So we just want to add a little kitty litter to our little pouch we just made. And then with our tails, I'm going to kind of do that a little. I'm going to add some fiber fill in here, and then we'll close it up. Okay, just like yesterday, we are going to use some of this polyfill here. It's the best, in my opinion. You can get that at Joann's. Today they had it at 50% off. Okay, so you're just going to put a little stuffing in here just to bulk it up just a little bit. We don't want it too bulky, because we're going to have other ones that are going to rest on top of this. Okay, so now I think I have enough kitty litter and enough stuffing. Let's close this. I'm going to tie it off and make a knot here so that none of this kitty litter is going to come out. Okay, so this is all done here. Okay, so we have one all done. You can just cut the strings once you've tied it off. Let's make another one. So we have this one done, and we are going to put a little kitty litter in it like we did the other one. And we're going to put a little fiber fill in there. And then we're going to pull the strings. And now we have a second one.
Now we're going to do the last one, which is the head, and we're just going to repeat the same process.
Cut that, and that's going to make the little head. How cute is that? Now let's go ahead and glue this all together. Okay, so now we're going to take our glue gun and we're going to glue this all together. Let me cut these tails off. Here. Okay, so we're just going to put a bunch of glue. Like so. And then we're going to press that second one down onto here. Okay. Once we've glued that, let's go ahead and glue the head. So we're going to do that right now. Just add a little glue here. And then instead of putting it up, we're going to put it down. Okay, this one's going to go down. So I'm just going to press that onto the body. We're going to stain this and add some paint to it. I know that it looks like, hey, it's done, it's good, let's just put a nose and two eyes, but you know what? I like to take it a step further because I did actually do dolls. And to me, this is like unfinished. Okay, so just like yesterday, we are going to use a little of this coffee mixture along with some water. You want it nice and strong, so we're just going to dump a whole bunch in there. All right, mix that up. Yep, that's nice and strong. All right, now take a brush and we are just gonna get this little guy all coffeeed up. I'm just using apple barrel white paint. Just gonna put a little on this here. All right, and we're gonna start painting him. So we're just gonna let that dry. Our snowman is all dry and he looks very grubby, which I love, but maybe just a little too grubby, so we're just gonna dry brush some white paint on him. Just using, you know, the same paint that we used, the apple barrel white. And just put a little on the brush, and we're just gonna dab him in certain areas just to give him a little more I think that looks much better. Just gonna put just a little bit more. We're gonna need little arms for him. So I have these twigs that I got from outside. We're gonna trim them down, and that's gonna be for his little arms. We are gonna clip the arms for our little snowman. I think that's gonna be cute. Let's try to make a little matching one here. All right, so we have 2 arms, and I'm gonna just puncture some holes here with these very sharp scissors. I'm gonna clip a little hole, puncture this. And one of these will fit right in here. And then we'll do the same thing over here. So I think that's looking cute. Now we need to cut a piece for his nose. So I'm just gonna cut this. And let's see, if I put a nose in right here. So we probably want about this much. I'm gonna cut it a little longer because we're gonna poke a hole and we're gonna push it in, so not all of the nose is gonna be showing. And for the nose, we're gonna use Burnt Orange by Americana. I'm just gonna put a little here on this plate, and we're gonna paint the nose. So we're gonna let this nose dry, and then like I said, then we'll go ahead and put his eyes in, and we'll also put his nose in. He's gonna be so cute. He's already cute. Okay, so our little guy, his nose is dry. And we're just gonna cut a hole and put it in there. Just gonna do that right now. I'm gonna cut a hole about right there in the middle. And then we're gonna shove the little stick in there. Cute. Okay, now we're gonna sew some little eyes on. Now to do that, I have these little beads. These are from Hobby Lobby. There's so many in here. You really don't even need all these, but they're good to have if you're gonna be making stuff like this. So I'm gonna use 2 of those for the eyes. I have a little needle, and we're gonna go through the neck because that's where our stitches are gonna be hidden. So I'm just gonna go through our neck. And out where one of the eyes should be. Make sure you don't poke yourself. Okay, so as you can see, here's the tail of the thread, and it's coming through the neck. I'm going to take one of these little eyes. We're going to stick the needle through. And we're going to sew that on. I'm going to come out where the other eye should be. Hold on one second, I got the thread stuck here. Oh, it's wrapped around his nose, that's why. Okay. So I'm just pulling that tight. And I'm going to stick the other eye through here. And then we're gonna come back out his neck and then tie it off. Again, make sure you don't poke yourself with the needle. I like to pull really tight so it makes a little indentation for the eyes. Isn't that cute? And then we're just going to tie this off here. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then tie it off. So then you're just going to trim this off. Now look at that face. Isn't that cute? Now I'm going to glue these arms in. I'm just going to put a little glue in there and then push the arm in just a little bit more. Do the same with this one here. He is a cutie patootie. Okay, I think he needs a scarf though. Let's get a little scarf for this guy. We're making him a scarf. We're gonna use the same type of fabric that we used for the other snowman and the wreath. So I'm just gonna rip a little here. I think that probably should be good. Trim that off, we'll get rid of this. All right. And let's just tie that around his neck. And I think this is super cute. Oh yeah. Okay, so I think that came out pretty good. One thing I want to do, I want to put little eyebrows on him. I think that it would be super cute. So we're going to do that too. Okay, so we're gonna add the eyebrows. We're gonna go in through the neck again. I'm just gonna lift up the scarf a little, stick the needle through, and then come out where an eyebrow should be, right there. Make sure you leave a little so you can tie it off. We're gonna go through one right here. And then we'll come out where the other eyebrow should be. It's about right there. Now when you paint this fabric, it becomes very tough, so that's why you see me struggling to put the needle through. Oh yeah, I like the little eyebrows. Look already. So I'm gonna put the needle through here, if I can get it through. And then we'll come out his neck and tie it off. I'm just fluffing up his head. After pulling that string, kind of made his head go down a little. Okay, so let's tie that off. Okay, it's time to put this little cutie patootie in a jar. All right, you guys, I was actually gonna use this jar, but I think it's a little too small for our snowman. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll use this. But this is actually a bigger one, and I think we'll see him better. I got this at the thrift store for like, I don't know, $1.99. So we're gonna carefully squeeze him in there. We're gonna put his arms in first, and we're gonna push him. Okay. Oh yeah, that's cute in there. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I have this little greenery that I think that's gonna look really cute. We'll put that in there too. Okay, so I think our snowman looks really cute in there. I think the only thing that's missing is a little bit of snow. Let's put some snow in there. Okay, how cute. All right, we're gonna put our lid on.
All right, you guys, I know it was a long one, but I hope it was well worth it for you. And if you get a chance, hop on over to Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and I'd love to see all your projects. I'll leave a link in the description, and I hope to see you there. Well, that's it for this episode of Flea Market Rescue. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. I'm Kelly Sherry, and this has been Flea Market Rescue.